Level up with the new AAA Commanders MVP membership. Get all the benefits of AAA plus exclusive experiences, discounts, and tickets. Already a AAA member? Upgrade for free at AAA.com/commanders. Hey, babies. Hey, babies. Hey, babies. Hi, everyone. Happy Thursday, everybody. What's up? What's up? Callow's done through night 2 of the 3-day West Coast trip for the Capitals. They just keep winning, so that must be all right. But, you know, I'm getting you up early to do this. You must be beat.
Hottest team in the NHL, first place in the Metro as of this morning. Yeah, it makes it a little bit easier when they're winning.
That's right, Michael. Who wants to buy my app now? Everybody wants to buy my app now.
I still don't think people are buying that for 10 o'clock puck drops, but you do you on that one.
Yeah. Well, listen, my only choice is now pay Ted or don't watch the Capitol. Well, I guess I could change my cable service, which I also don't want to do because that's like terrible. I don't want to do that either. That sounds terrible.
That's a whole thing, and I know you don't want to do that.
Yeah, no, I don't like whole things, especially when you got to have people coming in the 12 to 5 window. I'm out.
Right.
I'm out on that stuff. That is it's 2025, playa. No. I don't do 12 to 5 window anymore. We can nail this. We can nail this down, guys. We can nail this down. We got technology. Yeah. You can tell me when you're going to be here now. You don't need to give me 5-hour windows anymore. All right. Let's see. Back home, we got this. Jayden remains uncertain and unlikely, I think, to go this weekend against Minnesota. They're not saying he's out, but Dan Quinn reluctantly, I don't even know why, reluctantly admitted that he has not been cleared for contact. He tried to word salad it a little bit, and then somebody, like, for clarity's sake, is he cleared for contact? And he said no, and was kind of reluctant to say it. I don't know particularly why. I guess maybe he's holding out some hope that he's going to play this weekend. That's what it felt like to me. They're not rushing anybody back. They've rushed nobody back. And so I don't assume that they'll do that here either. And they'll let the doctors tell him when it's safe for him to play. And, you know, I know, like, some people look at that defense and go, maybe this isn't the week to bring him back and try it out. But I would argue back. Go look how the offensive line played a week ago against the best pass rush in the NFL and tell me you don't trust it, because I do at this point. So I don't want him to play until he's ready to go. I still do want him to play, even if they were to lose this weekend. I still do want him to play down the stretch. But it does sound like we're trending in a direction of Mariota one more time.
Yeah, there's some layers on this one. I think it starts off with the Schefter report on Sunday. This team is usually locked in on those types of things, doesn't really reveal anything. And the fact that Schefter decided to kind of lay the groundwork of, he might not be ready to go next week was kind of like a red flag over here on my end to think, okay, they're laying the groundwork of he's not going to play next week, or at least really keeping the door open. Because I remember, I think it was Fowler that said that they were aiming for the Vikings game. Not that that means anything, but that they were aiming for it. Yep. And so between that, then Quinn saying, we're not going to really say anything until Friday, I kind of thought the same thing. Okay, Mariota's probably going again. They're trying to prepare everyone accordingly, right? And also, Mariota did the press conference yesterday too. That's always, indicative of who's going to start the game. I think this was a case of we were optimistic he could do this game. Now he's not. I do have one question here, and I don't know if anyone's asked him because I didn't hear the presser yesterday. How exactly do you clear Jayden Daniels for contact on a non-throwing elbow injury? Like, I have questions on that. It's not like you can hit him or, like, fake hit him, I guess. So that's my other question here is, how do you clear him for contact on that? Is there swelling,
It's probably just are they concerned that if he took another hit there, that there would be a propensity of re-injury? And what is the swelling on it? Is probably, and that's just my guess, but that's probably what it is. He is closer than he is farther away. I can put it that way. But he's been practicing. I don't know how much because they won't show us that part, but he is out there. He's practicing. I will tell you, he looks like he's, from what I can see, and it's limited of what they let us see, he's moving around and he looks like himself. But, they've been extremely careful with everybody. and they're going to be at 3-9, extraordinarily careful, with him. And I think that's everybody's sigh of relief here. I know there's a lot of people that just seem to think they ought to punt on him playing at all. I'm not in that camp. I think they really should try to go win as many games as they can down the stretch. I know like earmuffs, draft people. Like, I don't think it's good for this organization at this time to just punt on a third of the season. I don't think that that's where we are. I don't think that's where they should be. And a lot of that is I do want to see him play, but I do want to see him play when healthy and not put in unnecessary risk. And he could get hurt again, obviously, but I just don't want to see him put in unnecessary risk. But if the risk isn't that high, let's go. And so it doesn't look like it's this weekend, but I'm still on board with, even if they're 3-10 after this, that he should be playing down the stretch, specifically in division games. He should be playing down the stretch.
No, I'm not, discounting that at all. I've said for a month that I think he should be playing no matter what. I've just had the legit medical question of how do you clear someone with that, or what is the procedure there? No one's really, gotten into that with Quinn. On the other side here too, at least with him starting, look, the other thing that makes this a little bit easier as well is Mariota has been pretty good. So like you aren't just like punting on the offense playing either. Like, it's not like it's detrimental to the team to have Mariota playing here. So even if he's 95%, Jayden is, you still feel comfortable with playing Mariota and everyone else getting their reps in.
Yeah, this game to me, I haven't done breakdowns of Mariota because we've all just been kind of waiting around for Jayden to come back, and he's not their long-term starting quarterback. He is their backup. And I think he's done a very good job as a backup. And I think when you take everything and put it in that framing, then you don't kind of break down what it is. And at 3-9, it's hard to sit here and go, okay, well, this is what he needs to do better, for them to start winning. But I would say this about him now that he's played a lot, and I think this offense really fits for him. And I think he's re-energized playing here, and I'd like him to stay, and continue to be Jayden's backup quarterback. Like, especially now that we're seeing a siphoning of the coaching staff a little bit. Tavita Pritchard is gone. There are potentially others that are going to be looking either elsewhere or be up for particular jobs over the next month or two or whatever. And we may lose some people this time. We already did in this case. Mariota feels like a coach on the field to me. And so I actually want him to stick around. And I think he's a very, very, very good backup quarterback for this team. But now that he's played a lot, I would say the biggest thing that concerns me about him when he's playing, and maybe this just doesn't matter because they're 3-9 and you're going, why are you talking about this? Because he's not our starting quarterback. But I would just say this, especially over the last few weeks when he's played in the high leverage spots, when things get broken down, this is where I get concerned with him. And he's had a few just kind of major, just chuck it up plays when things have broken down. He did it in the Dallas game when they got really desperate late. And granted, he didn't start that one.
Yeah.
He did it the other night against Denver, where you go watch the replay of that interception where he's not even looking down there when he threw the ball. And I'll hear him out that he was just trying to throw it away and he just didn't throw it away enough. But like where he threw the ball was a ridiculous place to throw the ball. And the intended receiver down there was Chris Rodriguez, too. There's a lot of things about that play that are really, really bad. He had another one where the play broke down. He just needed to eat it. And he tried to pitch it backwards to John Bates, of all people. And Bates, like, of all people, is not expecting that to happen. Like, he's lucky if the ball comes his way twice a game. Like, he's not expecting that. That's not Bill, where you'd be like, do something with this. Like, he threw it to the wrong guy. So, he's played really, really well. He had almost 300 yards passing the other night against maybe the best defense in the NFL, best pass rush in the NFL. He's picking really good at the zone read stuff, the fakes, the runs. He's magical at all of it. And in clutch moments the other night, he was fantastic. Like, they had the Terry McLaurin touchdown taken off the board, and he turned around the next play, hit Debo, and set them up. 4th and goal. They scored. 3rd and goal. He threw a pass to Burks because he trusted him. And he threw it in the only place the guy could catch it. So this is like small minor complaints, but I think in watching him in this offense, the difference for him between winning and losing these games are these critical moments where when things break down and it gets real fast, he makes some interesting choices, to say the least, and they've bit him. Like they have. So I didn't come here to do a breakdown of Mariota, but like now that I've seen him play a lot, and I just know that like we're not putting the critical eye on him because he's not the long-term future at quarterback for the team. He's just the placeholder for now. But for the sake of, we do want to really try to win here. And specifically this weekend, where this is a team that will blitz anybody and everybody. Like, they're very hard to figure out. They'll bring everybody. You don't know who's coming and when. It's very tricky when you watch them play defense. I'm just hoping that when we have a couple of, oh crap, this guy just came free, that he doesn't make a couple of the decisions. It's these 2-3 decisions a game that it hasn't cost them, but it hasn't helped them either.
Yeah, I would say with Mariota, it's the Marcus Mariota experience. He's good for one turnover a game. And
yes.
You don't get to pick when that turnover happens, essentially.
And it's typically not a fumble or some guy made some crazy play. It's he put it in harm's way. And in some cases for like, you just need to eat it. It's like he hasn't this far into his career. There are times where he just hasn't gone, this play's over, just get rid of it. And you're like, what are you doing? Like that interception the other night was a really, really, really bad one.
I'll actually go back to the one that I remember is the Raiders game where he was kind of running with the ball out a little bit. And then the Raiders guy popped it out classic style. That was, the first one that we saw, but guess what? That was in the first quarter. I think it was the first drive. You can bounce back from that. The Denver one, first quarter, first half in that one, right? Where, okay, you make a boneheaded mistake, but, you can at least bounce back. They do. The Cowboys one was bad, but things were spiraling in that game anyways. I actually don't really, look at that one. Then you go to the other one, which is the Miami game, where you really can't have that in overtime, and it literally loses you a game. So I'm with you. It's not like he's the long-term quarterback, but that's what you're signing up for with him. It seems like he has one big mistake a game. You have to hope that he gets it out of the way early. Is pretty much what happens with him.
Yeah. So I think a big key here this weekend is going to be handling the Vikings rush. As I just said, in watching them, they're really interesting. You just they are going to faux blitz every play. You don't know who's coming, and eventually they just catch you. It's like, gotcha. Like, you just didn't see this one coming. They will blitz up the middle a lot. So Cosme, Biotish, Chris Paul, to me, are key here. Yes, they'll bring corners off the edge. Yes, if Grenard plays, they're tougher on the edges coming around the corner. That said, where these blitzes come and seem to fool people, at least where they blow up a couple drives, is these either – they simulate they're coming up the middle, simulate, and then all of a sudden they do, and it just takes one missed assignment. You got a free rusher coming up the middle. So this is a big game for Jeremy McNichols, especially in true passing downs when he's out there. He's typically just out there for third down. Dependent on how the game is kind of lining up for them, if they're going to attempt to throw the ball more in general, I actually think this would be a tell. But I would want him on the field more, just because of the way that they bring all these pressure packages. And I actually trust him in pass protection more than the other two running backs, that I actually would make an argument. And he's actually earned the time too, to be on the field more. The guys, he's having an underrated, and I know it's 3-9, fantastic year for them in protection. Every game he's making a big play for them. I'm not sitting here arguing he should get 10 to 15 carries or make 5 catches, but I think in this case against this team, I actually think it warrants that he plays a lot more just for protection purposes more than anything.
I was going to say, he's making one big play a game. I mean, there's these long, second and long, third and longs, and he's routinely actually converted them. It's ridiculous watching him sometimes. So I'm with you. Pass pro, it seems like there's always one Twitter video a week where it's like, hey, watch this one. And he just destroys some dude on the way in too. So yeah. I'm the Jeremy McNichols stan this week. I think he should be playing more. I think this is the week. This is the week where it isn't an indictment of C-Rod or Bill. It's
this team brings so many elaborate pressure packages. I just want that guy out there. I feel safer with him as being kind of the last line of defense of the, oh crap, we missed that guy up front. And because I just don't like, it goes back to Mariota is a bit of a time bomb when things kind of go crazy. When everything's going really well, he's actually been fantastic. He's been a better downfield passer in this offense than I think he was in previous stops. This offense really works for him, but the margin for error, especially for this team, is so slim. They can't afford to have the 1-2 turnovers. They just kind of can't. And so I would just rather have a security blanket. McNichols kind of feels that way to me. One of the other things that popped up, and I'm not surprised by this over the last week or so, is the idea that Dan Quinn is not just the bridge defensive coordinator now that he took the duties away from Joe Witt and he's doing it himself. And the team is clearly playing a lot better on that side of the ball. I think we can all agree they don't have the type of roster where it would flip and become really, really, really good kind of overnight. And especially with the injuries, with all the people that they're missing, I think there's just a limited amount of what they can do. And if you look, like, while they've played a lot better, their ranking in total yards hasn't gone up because they still keep giving up like 400 yards a game. Like, that didn't change the other night. They still gave up a ton of yardage, but the point totals are down. The big plays have been not eliminated, but mainly eliminated. There was one bad one, where they lost somebody in a zone coverage last week. That's about it. They're forced Knicks to check down. Tua didn't kill them. Waddle didn't kill them. So, like, things have settled down on that side of the ball. And he was asked, and I kind of got this feeling because Quinn to me is an energy coach. Like, he feels the energy. He feeds into the energy. He tries to jumpstart the energy. He's a battery. Like, he really, like, this is where his magic is with the players. He likes to say things like, I want to put them in a position where they can express themselves the best way they can, which is, I'm going to pump you up. I'm going to give you the tools to be great, and then I want you to be great, and then I'm going to celebrate with you when you're great. And he feeds off these types of energies. That's what he feels like to me. So I thought it was a reasonable question to ask him. Are you re-energized? I think Keim asked him this. Are you re-energized by doing this? And he didn't say yes to that. He said, I get re-energized when the players do well. I'm re-energized by players. But he did not dismiss the idea that he's going to retain this. And as I think about this, and again, this is a premature conversation, but Witt clearly is not going to be placed as the defensive coordinator again. I think the fan base would be like, wait a minute, like, we're going to do that over? I don't think so. Could he stay on the staff? Yeah, I think so. They work very closely together. So I don't think that is like a necessitated change at all. Look how it's working right now. I don't think that's and he keeps name checking him and saying he's a big part of what I'm doing here. Like, they're trying to tell you he wasn't the problem is what he's basically trying to say. And then, but do you actually turn it over to somebody else? And is that person on this staff right now? And if that doesn't go well, then Quinn has to take the job back again. Like, I don't think that would be smart. So as I'm like gaming it out, part of me feels like he may have no choice but to stay as the primary play caller moving forward. That's what I think.
I mean, here's what it is at the end of the day, too. He's good at doing it, right? That got him his first head coaching gig. That, he was really good at it with Dallas. That got him this head coaching gig. And it's one thing that I pointed to as well was in his stint in Atlanta, his defenses weren't particularly good. And so once again, this goes back to Quinn, and we go back to last year when he was introduced where, what have you learned? And maybe he's learned that, hey, maybe I do need to call the plays to get the defense going on the other side of the ball because I still can do this and I can be head coach. And look, at the end of the day, if it's a experiment that worked this year where he can balance head coaching duties with calling the plays and it's working, why not do it? Like that's where I've landed here because
it's not that crazy or unusual. Kyle calls the plays for the Niners. Like, it's not like he doesn't. He does. So it's not that crazy and that unusual. And to me, part of this is Cliff still here? if Cliff is still here, then I think he probably feels like that side of the ball is like, I'm the head coach, but that side of the ball is pretty much under control. If Cliff leaves for whatever reason, and I'm not anticipating it, but who knows, like, I don't know who's circling around him and wants to, whether it's NFL or college. Like, if Lincoln Riley bolted from USC, like, I could see USC calling Cliff and going, we'll be able to recruit quarterbacks for you. Like, I don't know. Like, who in the world knows, like, is going to be talking to him? If he comes back, and I hope he comes back, I think that this would probably be best served for him to stay in this position. But if Cliff leaves and he has to kind of turn over the associate head coach, if you will, to a new person on offense, but he feels like he needs to have more oversight of that person, then I think that's when I think it gets hard to do all the jobs. But he's just really good at it. He's just got a really good feel for it. And I'm thinking about it, and I'm like, could he give it to somebody on the staff now? I suppose. But again, if it doesn't go well and he has to take it back again or feels forced to, that's not going to look great that happened. Because most of the time the deal is people succeed, they move on. It's not a change has to happen and I have to kind of take control. You kind of can't have that happen twice. And if you bring someone from the outside again, it's going to be a very similar, I don't know, like, you're just, it's a risk. That's all. It's just a risk. And he's so good at it that, like, I could see where this is maybe just the way it kind of has to be. And we'll see where it is. I mean, we're 5 games away. Let's see how the defense closes out. But I feel like this is kind of heading in this direction where he kind of likes to do it. He knows he's really good at it. And it is a little risky for him to turn it over to somebody else again, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be one extreme or the other. He's either continuing to call the plays or they're bringing someone in, right? Like, I don't know if the solution is on this staff because, to your point, are you actually going to experiment with someone else? And if it doesn't work out, have him do it? Like, no, I think you're going to bring someone in if you're going to do this. And I think at the end of the day, if you're Quinn or if I'm going to talk Adam Peters here and you're looking at what's going on, I think you're encouraging him to do this. If you can handle the duties, I think you do it. And once again, you learn from your past mistakes. The defenses weren't great in Atlanta. You're staring down the same problem here just 2 years into your second stint. I think you do take this over, and you are good at it. I think that is like the overall arching point here. It's not like it's a mixed bag with Quinn. Right away, the defense cleaned up and all of a sudden was pretty good again. And we weren't talking about Mikey Sanders still having a down year. We weren't talking about all the injuries again. And in fact, I even said it on Sunday against the Broncos. All of a sudden, you have half a deck on defense, and they're performing way better than they were before. That's a good thing now at this point. So I think he should keep it. And the fact that he at least left the door open, to me, is actually just really encouraging because I think that'll actually help the players to go, okay, we're in a good position now if he's calling plays as well.
Yeah, and I don't think Cliff's getting enough credit for what he's doing this year too. Like, that's a ridiculous situation that he's had with all those receivers out for all that period of time without the star quarterback on multiple different occasions, with flipping around the offensive line the way that they did. They've had basically 3 different offensive lines through the course of the year, and they've never been bad. It's never totally collapsed. It never looked terrible. They always cobbled something together, and there were certain weeks where they had a real hard time moving the ball and scoring, but they didn't have the personnel to do it, And so I think he's done a really, 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 that's why, I really hope he comes back again and they kind of run that back again, because with better health on that side of the ball, I think he's got pretty much if they get another receiver or two, I think he pretty much has what they need to be really good, like the promise of what I thought they were going to have. The last one is this, and we'll talk a lot more about this tomorrow, but what DQ wants, what they've always been preaching, ball is life, get the ball. This is the week, guys. I know you're not playing with, the full deck and all that stuff, but things have been level set. You actually did get a turnover a week ago. It was one where Bobby Wagner stood exactly where the ball was going to go. This quarterback, struggling isn't even the word for it. J.J. McCarthy, I saw this yesterday. I was looking up his stats. 46 starting quarterbacks this year. His passer rating is 46th. Okay, so not even just and some of them are not qualified. Like Max Brosmer played last week. He's played one game, so he wouldn't come into a qualified passer rating. But so even among qualified passers, he's dead last. And he's actually got a worse passer rating than even the one-off players who have played this year because of whatever circumstances. This is the week. Like, if the defense has really turned around and you preach, we're going to get the ball, get the ball, get the ball. This guy is begging to give you the ball. When I watched his tape from a couple of weeks ago against Green Bay, he made preposterously terrible decisions throughout the course of the game. And I think some of it is, to me, it's a confidence problem. And actually, this is this feels like a baseball situation where he's kind of like a closer that might need to sit for a little bit because he can't throw the ball over the plate right now. He's just going to start walking people. And in this case, he twice took sacks at his own 1 yard line, just wouldn't throw the ball away because he couldn't make a decision. His interceptions were just sailing passes that fly over people's heads. I think he's got a serious confidence problem. So this is the week. If we're talking ball is life, this is the first, I was looking it up. This is the first time in a while that we've played a quarterback that is literally struggling. Tua's still good. Bo Nix is having a really, he might not have a high passer rating, but he's been clutch, in the moments that you've needed him to. They've played Mahomes, they've played Dak, they've played Darnold, they've played Goff. Even Caleb is better. They haven't hit one of these situations where they're playing a quarterback that is truly, his confidence looks shaken. He is really struggling badly. This is the week the defense lives up to its promise and gets the ball a few times.
If you needed evidence that the first month of the season is pure chaos, go all the way back to that week 1 matchup where he somehow orchestrated a comeback against the Bears. And the Bears are one of the best teams in the league at this moment in time. That's one of those ones where I'm that's a baffling result looking at how not only just the records, but then looking at how he's played over, the last couple of games.
I don't know how they beat the Lions a few weeks ago in Detroit. That one, after watching him, I'm like, how did they win that game?
Yeah, this is kind of baffling. So I'm hoping they catch the bad side of him. What do we call that? Because what's his alternate ego that you love?
9.
9. Yeah, that's your favorite. That's your favorite player in the league over there. So I don't know what you call the bad version of that, but that's what he is. I feel like this defense once again has to keep a close game. They should keep a close game. It doesn't look like this offense has much going for him.
This is the one. They're going to run the ball a lot. They don't want him throwing the ball a lot. When he does, or when he gets into third downs, he doesn't look ready to make the quick decisions. He runs around. He sails balls. I think his confidence is shaken. And welcome to the NFL. You got to take advantage of that. We finally got a situation like last year. How many times did we play? We played the Saints when they played that guy Hayner. Bryce Young was injured when we played Carolina. Remember that early in the year? Deshaun was playing awful at the time when we played the Browns. We haven't it's not who you play, it's when you play them. And we haven't caught a lot of that. We've actually caught not only really good teams, but high-end quarterbacking throughout the course of all of it. And we, for all various reasons, just kind of couldn't keep up with some of them. Here's the first break that they've gotten in a while, and hopefully they take advantage of it. All right, let me take a quick break. Brave Watch the Show, ESPN 630, the Sports Capital. Commanders fans, your fandom just got an upgrade. Introducing the AAA Commanders MVP membership, where real fans get real perks and the same trusted AAA membership benefits. The new AAA Commanders membership provides the chance to win game tickets, access to VIP events and experiences, 15% off at the Commanders online pro shop, while providing peace of mind for Commanders fans on the road. Already a AAA member? Don't sit on the sideline. Upgrade your membership or join today at AAA.com/Commanders. All right, welcome back. Let's start with tonight's game, which is a really good one for Thursday night, Cowboys and Lions. And it really does feel like a playoff game for both of these teams. The Cowboys could lose and still be in their division race, but they're pretty much out of the wild card race if they lose, if they aren't already kind of out of the wild card race, because if they don't really win out here, that tie is probably going to hurt them to try to be a wild card team. So their real route is catching Philadelphia. Philadelphia gets the Chargers this week. Herbert may or may not play, but it's on the road, and Philadelphia's not playing very well. If they were to lose and Dallas were to win, suddenly they're in position to overtake them. And then we're going to have a lot of say in both of those teams at the end of the year, what it looks like. For the Lions, the reality is they're probably not going to be a wild card team if they lose tonight. And that feels like their best route. They've been swept by the Packers. They're behind the Bears. Like, if they lose tonight, the best they're going to do is probably be a third place team in that division. And because the Rams, Niners, and Seahawks all have the records that they have, Detroit's going to get shut out. So this is a full-on playoff game tonight. The loser here is going to be the winner here is still in trouble, but the loser is really, really, really in trouble tonight.
The wrench of all wrenches, too, is that the Panthers' record is still there, too. So, like, all of a sudden, a division that was dead.
I was looking at them. The Panthers end Bucks, Seattle, Bucks. So I bet they end up 8-9 or 9-8. That's where I think that they end up. And that in the end might be good enough to win that division, but probably isn't good enough to get into the wild card because Seattle, the Rams, and the Niners all have the record they have. They're going to play Seattle in what might be a wild card game. Might be at the end of the season.
Sure, but the thing is the Panthers, I don't discount them against anybody. Because
I agree.
Look at who they've beaten this year, but then also look at who they've lost at times. They are about as true of a wild card, literally, in terms of play as I've seen. So when it comes to Detroit, too, like there's another team thrown in there that I don't think everyone, kind of anticipated. With Dallas, too, like I looked at it down the stretch there. That tie is going to kill them because
it's going to kill them.
If they get to 10 wins, they still won't win the division. So
I mean, at the time, I was like, that's a hell of an outcome. The way Green Bay was playing. Green Bay was killing them in that game, too, and they came back and hung in there with them.
Yeah, but that tie is going to crush them because I looked it up and like 10 wins still doesn't quite get them the division. So they need some help if that's going to, go their way. So I'm with you. This feels like a playoff game, but it also feels like a playoff game in terms of let's see who's for real here. Like the Cowboys, I think, are one of the hottest teams in the league of how their turnaround has happened. They've revamped the defense. They've invested in that. See how they play. And with the Lions, like they're holding on for dear life here. Like they keep having these bad losses. You mentioned the Vikings one. You mentioned last week against the Packers at home, Thanksgiving. Like Dan Campbell, I still love him as a head coach, but they've had some bad losses this year. They need to kind of stop the bleeding, I think, too, to get the confidence up with them no matter what happens down the stretch.
This, to me, this whole game tonight is Gibbs and Montgomery. It's the whole game tonight because Amon-Ra getting hurt last week is huge, just huge for them. So if Dallas, who went and got Quinn Williams and Kenny Clark and got Overshown back and looked like they're a far better defense than they were than earlier in the year, if they can just control their run game and just, you're not going to stop Gibbs, but if you can he can't go off for 175, 200 yards, whatever it is. If they can just control that, I think you're going to get a very tense atmosphere up there. The Lions have not been dominant at home. They just lost to the Packers. They just lost to the Vikings. Like, that's not been a home field advantage. If you're going with momentum, they don't have it, and Dallas does. God, you told me this a month ago. I wouldn't have believed it. But I tell you, back-to-back weeks, they're going to beat Kansas City and Detroit and Philadelphia 3 weeks in a row. They're going to beat Philadelphia. Remember at the beginning of the year, we went, they may have a good record, but it's all going to come crumbling down when they play this crazy schedule that they have. Philadelphia, Kansas City, Detroit, back-to-back-to-back. And I'm going to tell you, they're going to go 3-0 during that. I actually believe it. I think Dallas has too much momentum on their side. I think they're going to score too many points. I don't think the Detroit offense is running anywhere near the type of capacity it did the year before. I think the Amon-Ra injury is huge. And if Gibbs and Montgomery don't go off on them, and I don't think they will, if they don't go off on them, I think Dallas outscores them. So give me Dallas tonight.
And honestly, too, let's go back to what we've analyzed with Dallas over the last few years. We always were asking the question, if Dak is healthy, that offense rolls. Well, that offense has been rolling all season long. Like the offense has been fantastic. They've had the same problem that Washington was having, though, where the defense wasn't holding up their end of the bargain. And now all of a sudden, they've kind of invested in that, gotten Quinn and Williams, and all of a sudden the defense is a little bit of a strength. I just like their makeup on both sides of the ball, and that's why they could possibly win these 3 games. It's because the defense has picked up the slack on their end.
If they make the playoffs, Jerry Jones needs to go on one of those sports radio hits and say, I'm the MVP.
probably will, honestly.
If they make the playoffs, he's going to be screaming that he's the executive of the year for the stuff that he's done. He is. He is.
The only reason is he can't do that because they've made the playoffs quite often in the past. He has to make it. They have to make it to the Super Bowl for him to start really touting that. That's what it needs to happen.
And honestly, if they go on a run here and win a bunch of games down the stretch, I think Dak's going to be up for MVP. Actually, probably by the end. By the end of all of it. Let's see. One of the other things that happened was after Mark Andrews dropped that pass in the playoffs last year, I think Baltimore was ready to kind of boot him out, and they're like, "Well, we have Isaiah Likely, which is his replacement." He's returned to being, one of the trusted players, and I wouldn't let him go either. So I think Baltimore did the smart thing here and signed him to an extension before free agency rolls around, which does mean Likely may be available. And if that's the case, we've been talking about, what's the upgrades? I look at Chig Okonkwo from Tennessee, potentially Likely now. After seeing Ertz the other night and seeing the functioning offense again, I go, I don't know, maybe we can get another year out of him. Maybe we'll talk about it. But this does mean that Isaiah Likely is probably going to hit the market because he's not going to pay two tight ends that kind of money. So let's see how that plays out.
Yeah, it seems like, we have been pretty literally proximity-wise close to this. It seems like they've been waiting for him to really break out and be consistent, and he's never really done that. He seems to be athletic as hell, makes some catches. He's always good for one of those games where he gets a couple catches for 80 yards and a touchdown, something like that. But it seems like Baltimore has been waiting for him to kind of really jump out, and it's never quite happened. Even when Andrews got hurt for an extended stretch of time, he was okay. He wasn't, breaking off, these huge games. So I think this was also indicative of Likely of going, we're going to go with the sure hand here in Andrews, and Likely probably going to test the market now.
Yes. So we'll see. That it is one of those things where Ertz, I think, has been a really great person in this locker room. Sure. And he's had a couple of big moments. And now that they have their weapons back, it opens the field up a little bit for him. It doesn't make him a primary target. I think you're seeing the kind of effect that he can have. We know how close he is with Jayden. So I think there is, as we watch this offense get back to where it was, there is going to be an argument. Run it back with him. If we're not going to end up getting a really young, great, obvious replacement for him, and don't say Ben Sinnott to me, the more that I've watched him, I think he has found a role on this team, but it isn't that. I don't even think they're playing the same position anymore. Ben Sinnott is closer to an H-back fullback. Ertz is never that. Ertz is a true receiving tight end. Maybe when he was drafted, you thought he was going to be that, and we thought he was going to be that. I don't think that's the case anymore. It doesn't mean that Sinnott doesn't have a role. I think one has emerged, but he's not the heir apparent at this position. They play a different position, in my opinion, now. And so if you're going to replace Ertz, you replace him with someone from the outside. It's not from the inside. And so let's see what the market looks like. But there's a big part of me that goes, I know he wants to play. I think you just saw the other night what kind of impact he can have when the people are around him. Running it back with him seems actually logical to me now.
Yeah, I mean, he just is what he is, though, at this point. He's not going to run after the catch. That's why the other night I was baffled at the designed play to him on the screen to the left side. I was like, all right, guys, we're overthinking this a little bit. Let's calm down here with that play call. I'm with you.
Cliff's trying to switch a few things up. He went Wildcat twice in the red zone. Neither time did that work out the other night.
Right. I mean, there's a couple times there where you're scratching your head. For what he costs, I'm okay with it. But if you can upgrade, I'd be really open to it. I wish they had a little more athleticism there. But I'm not mad if they bring him back is what I'm getting at here.
Let's see. Then there's this one. No Commanders are going to be in the Hall of Fame again this year. J.O. Jacoby was on the senior semifinalists. He did not make the cut for the finalists of that. Robert Kraft's on it. Bill Belichick's on it. I actually think it'd be hilarious if they go in at the same time. There's a big part of me that wants that to happen. I will say this. If the voters are going to choose one of them and you don't choose Belichick over Kraft, you're being petty and you're doing that for reasons that are not logical. I know he's a weirdo. I know there's a lot of strange news about him, but I'm sorry, his record is what it is. And you can sit there and say that that's Tom Brady and it's not him, but it is both of them. And if you don't he's 8 or 9 wins away from the winningest coach of all time. I know his girlfriend, the whole thing, it's all weird, and Pablo Torre will love this and all that. But if you put Kraft in over him, the voters lose all credibility to me. Like, that's not right. So if they go in together, I actually think it'd be funny. But if you're going to have just pick one of them, you know the right answer to that, and you better get that answer right, because it's not Kraft over Belichick. Don't get that mixed up.
I do think there are different categories too. Like Kraft is the contributor and Belichick is in like a coaching category or something like that. So I think they both would get in. I'm with you though. Like you can't put Kraft in before you put him in. That's flat out ridiculous. I think they're both going in at the same time though. That sounds about right to me, especially kind of just closing the book on that legacy for them. Granted, looks like they're restarting another chapter with another really good quarterback, but I think they both get in here. I don't. How is Belichick not a first ballot Hall of Famer? Like that's not. I don't think that's gonna. Yeah. I don't think that's not gonna happen. Is what I'm getting at here.
And as for our guys, I'll just say this publicly: I'm not done fighting for them, for whatever weight that carries as the voice of the team. I believe Joe Jacoby. This is one of the biggest snubs in the history of the sport. He was the best, most dominant lineman of the Hogs. He was on all 4 Super Bowl teams and won 3 of them. I don't understand it. Like if you ask anybody, all the legends that played against him, they'll tell you he was the one that was like the dominant player for them. I don't know why he's not in the Hall of Fame, and I don't get it, and I don't understand it. So as long as I'm in this position, I will fight for him publicly to be in. As for B. Mitch, for crying out loud, Devin Hester went in. B. Mitch preceded him as the best returner in the history of the NFL. If you're not going to put returners in because you don't value them, fine. There's nothing I can argue with. But if you're going to put Devin Hester in, that Brian Mitchell belongs in too. So that's absurd that hasn't happened now. And as for my man London, the guy is the second leading tackler in NFL history. I know he didn't have as big a name as Ray Lewis or Brian Urlacher or Patrick Willis or whatever, but the results are the results. And why they keep ignoring that resume is crazy to me. So as long as I'm in the position that I'm in and my voice carries some weight in NFL circles, especially locally, I will fight for all 3 of them because they all deserve to be in the Hall of Fame. And I don't understand why they keep getting passed over, because it'd be one thing if they just retired, but they're passing over not good players, legends. They're passing over legends of the game. I don't understand it.
Yeah, I think I've kind of said this on my show a couple of times when it comes to the Hall of Fame stuff. This ownership group has had a lot on their plate since they've gotten the team, as in whatever you want to say in terms of hiring a head coach, a GM, then getting a franchise quarterback, getting the stadium settled. I think the next thing in line for them is to get the campaign going again, to get these guys into the Hall of Fame. We remember it started like 5 years ago when they started to do it, 5-6 years ago when we were getting clips of LT talking about Jacoby, right? That type of stuff. The ownership group has a lot on their plate. I think they're knocking a lot of things off of it at this point. And I think the next thing you got to throw back onto it is let's start campaigning again for these guys. Because that's what makes the noise. And like, look, I know this team wasn't good a lot of times on primetime this year, but it would have been nice if we had heard Tirico or Collinsworth talking about it, or Buck and Aikman talking about a couple of those guys and getting the kind of momentum going there. I think that's something the ownership group actually does a really good job of, is bringing up those topics on these big games like that. And so I think that's the next agenda for them, is let's get the momentum going again from ownership as well.
100%. All right, let me take a quick break. Very much to show ESPN at 6:30, the Sports Capital. Hail Nation, take your fandom up a notch. Check out the new AAA Commanders MVP membership. You'll get all the reliable AAA benefits like 24/7 roadside assistance, plus exciting Hail Nation extras like opportunities to win game tickets, attend exclusive events, and 15% off the online pro shop. Already a AAA member? No problem. You can upgrade for free just head to AAA.com/Commanders to upgrade or join today and become a true Commanders MVP and Hail Nation member. All right, welcome back. 2 quick topics before we go today. One, does sound like Giannis is going to be traded, or that is in the works here. Like the major reporters of the NBA said meetings have begun to talk about what his future is going to be. This is one of those situations where I go, do we just get off of our cockamamie rebuild plan and just give up a bunch of assets to get a legitimate superstar here and build around him, he probably is going to dictate where he goes. And I can't imagine that he says, I really, really, really want to be there. But this is like, I just read that one and I went, we're not in position to do this. This player probably doesn't want to be here. This is not probably how they planned any of this stuff out. But there's a big part of me that's looking at what's happened here 3 years into this rebuild thing. And I'm sorry, I don't even see the beginnings of what this crazy turnaround is going to be. I don't see we're going to turn into Oklahoma City in a couple of years. I really just don't see that. And so there's part of me that goes shift gears, like put it all in and get a legitimate superstar in here that knows how to play and knows how to win. And obviously that's not going to happen here. I'm assuming he's going to get traded to the Knicks because that's where I think he wants to go. They actually have assets to send back. It probably puts them over the top. With Boston marginalized, with Tatum hurt the whole year, Indiana's marginalized. It's for the taking for them. And if they go and get a player like this, they'd be clear front runners to win that conference.
Yeah. In the offseason, when he discussed wanting to go elsewhere, there was only one team he talked about, and it was the Knicks. So he's not going anywhere else but New York. So it's either he stays in Milwaukee or he goes to New York. I don't think there's any other option here unless, they wait until the offseason and he decides he wants to go somewhere else. So, yeah, pipe dream to Washington ain't happening.
Yeah.
Not that it normally is a thing with superstars these days, but it seems like New York or bust, and I wouldn't be surprised if they can't work something out. He just stays there, too. He does seem like the type of player to do that.
All right, last one. You keep telling me, like, hey, the Caps, they're on the road. They've been winning a lot. The condensed schedule, it's got to turn around. Nope. They thrashed that team last night. Second of a back-to-back on the West Coast. And I know, I actually read that the Sharks goaltender had been really good, like leading up to this, like had given up 2 or fewer goals in like 8 of 9 or something like that. And they put up a touchdown on them last night. So they are just white hot now.
So he got pulled in the first period. So that's how that game went. Stat of the day for you: Capitals first team in NHL history to have 2 goals from a 40-year-old, Alex Ovechkin. He's a man, he's 40, and 2 goals from a 20-year-old, Ryan Leonard. So first time that's ever happened in NHL history. So you can also see the changing of the guard happening here a little bit in real time. Leonard had a sick goal to start the third. Go look it up. He had this goal where he went coast to coast, made a defenseman look silly, scored. It was amazing. And then there's this other one where Alexei Protas didn't even look. He did a behind-the-back, no-look pass. I think it was on the Dylan Strome goal. I might be mistaking who scored because I lost track of the scoring. That was sick, too. This team is the hottest team in the league. They're first place in their division, and I just was saying they would lose because I look at the math here. Like, they can't just keep winning.
Right.
You got to lose one eventually.
It's just rhythms of a league. It's like back-to-back, West Coast. They already won a game. It's rhythms. You're like, they'll lose 3-2 or whatever it is. Yeah.
And here's the thing, too, and I've mentioned this. The schedule has been actually unorthodox. Usually when they play L.A., the back-to-back is Anaheim.
Right.
No, it was L.A. to San Jose, which isn't like some quick little trip. They weren't in.
And then back to Anaheim. I saw that. It's stupid.
Yes.
I saw that.
So they did this once last week or 2 weeks ago where they were playing like Tampa, went to Florida or went to Carolina, then went back to Florida. So the schedule's all out of whack. The fact that they just won that was crazy, and they made them look silly last night. That was a really good win, and to have Ovechkin keep kind of heating back up again is ridiculous. They're the hottest team in the league right now, not the Avalanche. The Avalanche are the hottest team, but in the Eastern Conference, it is the Capitals.
All right, everybody. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Brave Watch the Show, ESPN 630, the Sports Capital.